Sphinx is just 4,500 years old. By all means, yes, 2500 BC, the ancient Egyptians were there, but I believe they found the Sphinx already created and already heavily eroded, and that they then recarved its head into the head of a pharaoh.
In the heart of Egypt's endless deserts, there's a mystery as old as civilization itself, the Great Sphinx. For many years, this incredible ancient statue has fascinated both archaeologists and historians. Recently, scientists made a groundbreaking discovery by uncovering secrets that have been hidden within the Great Sphinx for centuries. What mysteries are concealed within this ancient monument? Could these revelations change everything we know about history? Join us as we unravel the secret hatch on top of Egypt's ancient Sphinx that scientists finally opened, the Osiris Shaft. The Osiris Shaft, located along the path linking the Sphinx to the second pyramid, immediately grabs attention with its complex design, a true symbol of ancient Egyptian engineering skill. This impressive structure spans 3 levels, seamlessly blending practical function with a touch of mysticism. The Osiris Shaft is a marvel of ancient Egyptian skill and cleverness. Its detailed design shows the remarkable work of its builders. Imagine the precision needed to carve these chambers directly into solid rock, revealing a deep understanding of the land. As you approach the Osiris Shaft, you're greeted by a carefully crafted rectangular opening, marking the beginning of your descent. This isn't just any hole in the ground. It's a vertical shaft, carefully designed to plunge nearly 10 meters underground. Think about the immense effort required to extract and shape the limestone using tools made from harder stones and metals, along with ropes and wooden supports. This work highlights the advanced engineering skills of the ancient Egyptians. The initial chamber, though not richly decorated or filled with treasures, gives off a quiet sense of purpose. It seems to serve as a preliminary space, possibly for preparatory rituals or moments of thought before descending further. But the real intrigue begins as you move to the second level. Here, another shaft goes down an additional 20 meters, revealing a more detailed chamber. These shafts likely served as passages for burials or symbolic representations of the journey to the afterlife. As you explore deeper, the layers of mystery unfold, inviting thoughts about the rituals and beliefs that shaped ancient Egyptian culture. The Osiris Shaft isn't just a marvel of engineering. It's a window into the fascinating and mysterious world of ancient Egypt. Going down to the third level marks an important moment in the exploration. As you go down another passage, you descend an impressive 30 meters under the ground. At the center of this room lies a large stone coffin, more than just a burial place, but a symbolic tribute to Osiris, the legendary figure of Egyptian myths. The room's partial filling with water from an underground source adds to its mysterious feeling, bringing to mind ideas of new life and cleaning that are deeply rooted in old beliefs. Each part of this building serves a different and mysterious purpose. Going further down reveals an amazing sight, a big stone coffin resting in a room that's partly underwater. Here, the scene vividly shows the old Egyptian underworld, as if it was made right under our feet. It's like they made their idea of life after death hidden deep in the Giza Plateau. Exploring deeper into this part finds 6 empty burial holes, a surprising discovery that confuses scientists. Were these holes emptied by thieves, or were they purposely left empty? This find gives us an idea of ancient ways of burying and rituals, though many details are still not clear. Even though there are no writings that could have given us historical hints, things like pieces of pottery and stone fragments spread around tell us a lot. These old things take us back through time, suggesting that the Osiris hole likely comes from the time of the New Kingdom. Looking into these holes is like being a detective, where every discovery helps us solve the mystery of where they come from, while exploring grand monuments and temples in Egypt provides valuable historical insights. Some of the most touching discoveries are the mummified remains found in smaller rooms around the central tomb. These preserved human bodies give us a deep connection to the people of ancient Egypt, allowing us to see their daily lives, diets, lifestyles, and even the circumstances of their deaths. The Osiris Shaft is named after the ancient Egyptian god, Osiris, who is no ordinary god. Osiris is the god of the afterlife, death, and rebirth. According to legend, Osiris was betrayed by his brother Set, leading to a dramatic story of death, dismemberment, and eventual resurrection that could rival any epic movie. His devoted wife Isis carefully collected his scattered remains and performed rituals to bring him back to life. This story is central to Egyptian mythology, symbolizing the endless cycle of life, death, and rebirth. The Osiris Shaft stands as a three-dimensional tribute to this ancient story. Deep within its depths lies a room submerged in water, symbolizing the underworld. Imagine standing before a huge stone coffin representing Osiris's tomb, a deep symbol of his journey through death and his crucial role as the ruler of the afterlife. But why build such a place? One interesting theory suggests that the Osiris Shaft served as a site for initiation rituals. Imagine it as a spiritual training ground where participants underwent symbolic trials, mirroring Osiris's ordeal of death and resurrection. These rites were not mere ceremonies. They were believed to impart hidden knowledge and speed up a spiritual change in those initiated. Some think that the shaft's design was closely aligned with celestial bodies, reflecting the stars associated with Osiris and the afterlife. It seems the shaft was envisioned as a link connecting Earth to the heavens, a physical representation of the soul's journey beyond death. What truly captivates is how the physical layout of the Osiris Shaft and the items unearthed within echo with ancient Egyptian texts like the Pyramid texts and the Book of the Dead. These texts explain the Egyptian view of the afterlife, filled with symbols of water, boats, and the deep meaning of coffins. The shaft itself appears like a stone version of these ancient writings, a tangible link to the beliefs and customs of a long-gone civilization enshrined within the limestone of the Osiris Shaft. The evolution of the Osiris Shaft. The Osiris Shaft has two entrances, one in the south and another in the north. Looking at photos from a 2011 expedition into the Osiris Shaft system, we can see how the northern entrance has changed over time. In older images, the main entrance appears as a worn hole going into the bedrock, without any signs of being carved by tools. Next to it on the left was a second eroded tunnel. Back then, the main entrance was about 6 feet tall and allowed easy access to the underground tunnel. However, today, most of this entrance is blocked by a concrete wall, and the depression below it, visible in older photos, has been filled with sand, likely to hide the northern entrance from public view. The secondary tunnel on the left has also been filled and covered with sand. Recent visitors to the Giza Plateau who remember the site from earlier times have noticed these significant changes. What was once a large, obvious hole in the causeway is now mostly hidden by sand and modern construction. The difference between the past and present is striking, surprising many people who see the changes to this important historical location. This effort to block access to the site suggests that the Osiris Shaft was not originally meant for regular entry. There were no ladders or other easy ways to go down, as the ladders we see today were added later by archaeologists. Another interesting detail is why the builders chose to bring large granite boxes underground, instead of simply carving burial chambers into the bedrock. Using lids alone would have been easier. Also, the sarcophagi are made from a different type of stone than the shaft itself and have no inscriptions, which makes us wonder about their true purpose. The shaft itself was carved directly from solid bedrock, without any stonework that could help date its construction. This lack of clues makes it hard to determine its age using conventional methods. Stone dating techniques applied to these mysterious sarcophagi suggest they are extremely old, with one made from a particularly unusual type of stone. It is estimated that each sarcophagus weighs around 40 tons, a significant weight to manage. Imagine the challenge of lowering these enormous objects with ropes and keeping them steady. It boggles the mind. Maybe they even used water in the shaft to help. If they made even a small mistake, the heavy sarcophagus could block the shaft entrance forever. But despite the huge risk, the builders seemed sure they could handle this tricky job in the tight space of the shaft. On the south wall of the second level, there's a huge black stone sarcophagus. Its surface has a thin layer of bitumen, which hints at something interesting underneath. When you look closer, you see a wide area under the bitumen glowing white, a color usually linked with metals. This metallic layer is mostly made of lead, with some zinc, iron, titanium, and arsenic mixed in. This mixture makes us think the stone surface was treated or painted, but we still don't know why this metallic layer was added. Hidden passages and forbidden tunnels. The Sphinx, an old monument, has sparked endless debates and guesses over the years. Stories talk about hidden tunnels and rooms, while modern scientific studies suggest there might be undiscovered spaces under and inside the Sphinx. One especially interesting feature is a forbidden passage at the back of the monument, which has long been a subject of intense curiosity. This passage was first found by well-known Egyptologists Zahi Hawass and Mark Lenner. The dig started when an old worker remembered a secret tunnel near the Sphinx's tail. They removed a single stone, revealing a descending passage leading under the Sphinx. For 3 weeks, they explored the depths of this mysterious dark shaft. Despite their thorough search, they found nothing hidden beneath the Great Sphinx. Their dig only revealed an empty tunnel, which they carefully wrote about in a 16-page report with a few photos and drawings, mostly showing the entrance and outside views of the Sphinx. These rare images and the limited information available have left many questions unanswered. The researchers claimed they searched every inch but found nothing hidden underneath. A few brave people took great risks to explore the back end of the Sphinx when the authorities were not looking. They had only a few seconds before they could get caught, yet they managed to capture some forbidden glimpses. The photos they took show a previously unknown tunnel that goes into the heart of the Sphinx itself. These pictures reveal a passage boarded up within the Sphinx, unseen from the outside. This tunnel leads upward and eastward, suggesting secrets hidden within the old monument. This discovery challenges the belief that there is nothing underneath the Sphinx. While this particular tunnel might be a dead end, what matters is what lies inside. These photos hint at more secrets waiting to be found. They match ground radar images showing possible empty spaces within the Sphinx in the same direction as this mysterious boarded-up tunnel. The journey into the Sphinx's secrets has just begun. These findings open a new chapter in our understanding of this old marvel, promising more mysteries to uncover beneath its stony gaze. At the bottom of the Osiris Shaft, some tunnels might link to a large network of underground passages beneath the Giza Plateau. On the third level of this shaft, there's a section that looks like a tunnel, but it hasn't been fully explored yet. It's curious why more effort hasn't been made to investigate it. Similar vertical shafts often lead to underground complexes, so these tunnels are likely connected. Interestingly, ancient people were known to explore many of these tunnels. Back then, many of the tunnels and shafts didn't have ceilings. There's a rumor that someone traveled underground from Saqqara to the Giza Plateau, but whether this is true is uncertain. What is certain, though, is that there are extensive underground tunnels that stretch for kilometers. For example, the tunnels at Tuna El Gebel stretch for about 3 kilometers, while the tunnels beneath the Step Pyramid, if laid out in a straight line, would cover around 56 kilometers. Additionally, there are 5 levels of tunnels under the Step Pyramid and 3 levels beneath the pyramids at the Giza Plateau. These findings are significant because these underground structures are carved into the bedrock and are connected to the pyramids rather than being separated from them. When you go down into the first tunnel, you can see a lot of wind erosion, and at the bottom, there's water. This suggests that the tunnels are at the same level as the Nile's water table. Efforts to pump out the water have been ongoing since 2012, but the water remains, possibly because the area used to be part of the Nile's course, with the limestone bedrock storing a lot of water. So, were these tunnels meant for travel or for managing water? Given how easily they fill with water, it seems more likely they were designed for water management rather than for people to walk through. The Dacite Sarcophagus Mystery. In the Osiris Shaft, one notable feature is a large gray coffin positioned on the north wall. It's certainly the most interesting object in the shaft. What makes it especially unique is its material. Using X-ray technology, scientists identified the rock as dacite. This rock has never been found in any other ancient Egyptian artifact, making this coffin truly one of a kind. Geologists familiar with Africa and Egypt have observed that there are no known dacite deposits anywhere on the continent that could produce such a large coffin. This finding suggests that the coffin likely wasn't originally from Egypt, but was probably brought in from outside Africa, possibly transported by sea from regions like Europe or the Black Sea. To find out exactly where it came from, further investigations into deposits are necessary. Dacite is an igneous rock mainly composed of feldspar and quartz, with small crystals that require a microscope to see, giving it a somewhat dull appearance. The places where dacite deposits are known to exist are hundreds of miles away from the Osiris Shaft. This distance emphasizes the logistical challenges and significant costs involved in transporting such a massive stone block weighing over 40 tons across desert terrain without a direct water route to Giza. Naturally, questions arise. How did ancient people manage such a feat? Why did they choose this difficult option instead of getting granite from Aswan or basalt from Fiume? Moreover, if they did it once, why didn't they repeat it throughout Egyptian history? The discovery of dacite in this coffin was just the start of surprises. Further research provided dating results placing the coffin as far back as pre-dynastic times, around 3350 BC. This date is about 850 years earlier than the generally accepted construction period of the Giza pyramids, placing it in the Old Kingdom and possibly nearly a millennium older than the time of Khufu and the 4th dynasty. The discovery and dating happened with a new way that measures when two rock pieces were last exposed to light. Professor Ioannis Litis created this method, allowing the direct dating of old buildings and objects made from granite, basalt, and sandstone using optical thermoluminescence. Imagine a granite block before it's cut and shaped to fit into a wall. Inside this block, think of a small granite crystal. This crystal takes in electrons from the nearby radiation, filling tiny holes known as electron traps. When the crystal is suddenly in sunlight after being cut from the granite, the sunlight's energy causes all trapped electrons to quickly leave their traps. Within hours, the crystal becomes empty of electrons, with all traps clear. Once it gets dark and the crystal is next to another granite block, it stays away from sunlight forever. Over time, electrons slowly start filling the traps again from surrounding radiation, a process that takes a very long time. Professor Litis called this the bleaching of the granite crystal by sunlight, comparing it to setting a stone clock to zero. When the crystal is shielded from sunlight again, electrons start naturally filling the traps again, resetting the crystal's clock. By counting the number of electrons in the crystal at any time after its last exposure to sunlight, scientists can figure out how many years have passed since it was last bleached by the sun. This method allows for accurate dating of the crystal and, by extension, the granite block in which it is found. A quest through history. Graham Hancock is a fascinating figure in the study of ancient civilizations, famous for his thought-provoking books like Fingerprints of the Gods and Magicians of the Gods. His ideas often challenge mainstream archaeology, focusing on the concept of an advanced civilization lost to history. According to Hancock, this ancient society knew architecture and mathematics far beyond what we typically attribute to early human cultures. A key element in Hancock's theories is the Osiris Shaft, an intricate structure that he believes might be a relic from this lost civilization. Its complex design hints at advanced technological skills and deep cultural beliefs. Hancock speculates that the shaft might be older than conventional timelines suggest, or that it was built using knowledge inherited from this enigmatic civilization. He also suggests that the shaft's orientation might be connected to celestial events or constellations related to Osiris, reflecting themes of life, death, and rebirth in Egyptian mythology. Hancock's research implies that Egypt's monuments are part of a larger cosmic plan, each contributing to our understanding of the ancient past. The Osiris Shaft, with its many mysteries, could reveal more about our ancestors' relationship with the cosmos and their search for spiritual meaning. A central theme in Hancock's theories is the idea of global cataclysms, especially those caused by comet impacts between 12,800 and 11,600 years ago during a period known as the Younger Dryas. He suggests that these catastrophic events might have led to the downfall of the advanced civilization he proposes existed. When he looks at the water that fills the lower levels of the Osiris Shaft, Hancock sees more than just groundwater seepage. He interprets it as a symbolic reminder of ancient floods, epic deluges that, according to his hypothesis, had a profound impact on this lost civilization. Hancock believes that these floods mark significant events in human history and argues that mainstream archaeologists and prehistorians have overlooked multiple ancient cataclysms that left behind traces mistaken for natural phenomena. He proposes that by investigating these events, we might uncover new insights into our ancient past that have been ignored or dismissed. In the 1990s, geologist Robert M. Schoch introduced an interesting idea about the age of the Sphinx. He noticed unusual erosion patterns around the Sphinx and its surroundings. Instead of the typical wind and sand erosion found in Egypt's desert climate, these patterns seemed to be caused by water. This led Schoch to think that the Sphinx might be much older than previously believed. Graham Hancock, known for questioning traditional historical views, found Schoch's theory fascinating and has supported it since the early 1990s. Most Egyptologists believe that the Great Sphinx is about 4,500 years old, even though there are no inscriptions to confirm this date. However, independent researcher John Anthony West and Schoch argue convincingly that the Sphinx might be far more ancient. Hancock was especially interested in Schoch's theory because it suggests the Sphinx existed during a time when Egypt had heavy rainfall, which could have been around 8,000 to 10,000 BCE. The idea that such rainfall could have caused the erosion seen on the Sphinx today is both intriguing and controversial. Traditional archaeologists have long dated the Sphinx's construction to the reign of Pharaoh Khafra, based on its location in the Giza pyramid complex and comparisons with other artifacts from that period. However, Schoch's hypothesis challenges this timeline. He proposes that the Sphinx could be much older, possibly dating back to the Neolithic era when Egypt experienced more rainfall. If this were true, it would change our understanding of ancient Egyptian history. According to Schoch, the Sphinx did not originate with Khafra in the 4th dynasty. The erosion patterns on the Sphinx are distinct, with deep cracks, wavy lines, and smooth, rounded contours, which are more characteristic of water erosion than wind or sand abrasion. It's important to note that the Sphinx is made of limestone, a material that varies in hardness across its layers and is especially susceptible to water-induced wear. Schoch observed that the damage couldn't just be from wind and sand. It looked like water had played a major role. This discovery became even more exciting when Schoch examined the climate history of the Sahara Desert and the Giza area. He found out that between 10,000 and 5,000 BCE, this region wasn't the desert it is today. Instead, it was quite wet due to a period known as the Neolithic subpluvial phase, which brought much more rainfall, transforming the area into a lush and water-rich landscape. The King and Queen Chambers. Deep within the Great Pyramid of Giza lies a special place known as the King's Chamber, a remarkable example of ancient Egyptian architecture that continues to captivate historians and visitors alike. Imagine stepping into this chamber. The walls and ceiling are all crafted from enormous granite blocks. To reach it, you first traverse the Grand Gallery, a long corridor rising 8.6 meters high and stretching 47 meters long. Egyptologists explain that moving such massive blocks was no simple feat. They were carved from red granite and transported over 800 kilometers from Aswan. The chamber itself, measuring about 10.47 meters by 5.234 meters and standing 5.974 meters high, reflects the Egyptians' advanced understanding of materials and construction techniques. At the center of the chamber rests a red granite sarcophagus believed to have been meant for Pharaoh Khufu, yet curiously, no human remains have been found within it. This sarcophagus bears marks of wear and tear. Above the chamber, a system of relieving chambers helps distribute the pyramid's weight, ensuring structural integrity, an impressive feat of ancient engineering. The Grand Gallery leading to the King's Chamber is a pathway of ancient ingenuity. Its narrowing walls, achieved through sophisticated construction techniques, create a visually dramatic effect. The choice of limestone for the walls and heavier stones for the ceiling attests to careful planning to support the immense weight above. Stepping into this grand space, one can't help but marvel at the precision and planning that went into its construction. It stands as a symbol of ancient Egypt's architectural genius and its ability to create monumental structures that continue to intrigue and inspire us today. Some experts suggest that the Queen's Chamber in the Great Pyramid of Giza served a significant role in ancient rituals connected to the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife. Features like the Grand Gallery's large stone step and various slots along the walls indicate it was more than just a passageway, possibly assisting in constructing the chamber itself. Moving on to the Queen's Chamber, despite its royal name, it's widely believed it wasn't meant as a queen's burial place. The chamber's unique features and lack of burial items have sparked centuries of speculation about its true purpose. Positioned centrally within the pyramid but at a lower level than the king's chamber, it has its allure. Imagine ascending about 20 meters from the ground level through a corridor extending from the Grand Gallery to encounter this intriguing space. Its spacious dimensions, with a pointed roof reaching towards the pyramid's core, add to its grandeur. One of its most striking features is a large recess in the eastern wall, standing about 4.6 meters high, which has puzzled many researchers. The construction technique of the chamber's roof, using layered stones in an inverted V-shape similar to the king's chamber, suggests a deliberate architectural choice for stability and possibly symbolic significance. Theories about its purpose range widely, from rituals for the pharaoh's rebirth to cosmological beliefs of ancient Egypt. Recent technological advances like infrared thermography and muon radiography have allowed researchers to explore behind the chamber's walls without invasive methods. They seek unknown cavities or clues to better understand its construction and purpose within the Great Pyramid. Another mystery within the pyramid lies in its air shafts and the subterranean chamber. These narrow passages, too small for humans to pass through, stretch from the king's and queen's chambers to the pyramid's exterior. Discovered in 1872, the queen's chamber shafts were a late revelation, deepening the pyramid's mystery. Originally thought for ventilation, the queen's chamber shafts don't extend to the outside, leading to theories of a more mystical purpose, possibly aligning with stars like Orion and Sirius, significant in ancient Egyptian beliefs about the afterlife. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. In the center of busy Cairo, among lively streets and ancient puzzles, stood the grand Great Sphinx of Giza. Carved from worn limestone, its eyes have gazed at the horizon for centuries, fascinating historians and explorers alike. Recently, a team of brave scientists accomplished a revolutionary achievement that would impact the world. Led by a famous archaeologist, Dr. Stone Rice, the expedition successfully opened a long hidden door at the top of the Sphinx's head. This door, surrounded by mystery for generations, hid secrets that had intrigued scholars for a long time. As the Egyptian sun cast warm light over the desert, excitement filled the air. Opening the door carefully, the team found a narrow staircase leading into darkness. Hearts raced as they descended, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. The air was heavy with the scent of history and the weight of centuries gone by. At the bottom of the chamber, they found an amazing sight. Walls covered in ancient pictures lit by flickering torchlight. In the middle of the chamber lay a well-preserved artifact, an intricate golden necklace glowing with symbols suggesting ancient power. What mysteries do you think lie beyond the Sphinx's hidden door? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Echoes of a lost civilization. Hancock has an intriguing idea about a very old civilization that came before famous ancient societies like the Egyptians, Sumerians, and the people of the Indus Valley. Picture an advanced society that vanished almost overnight, leaving only bits and pieces of evidence behind. Hancock suggests that this civilization wasn't just in one place, but spread all over the world. He believes that after a disaster wiped out this society, the survivors traveled across the globe, sharing their advanced knowledge and kickstarting other ancient cultures. Hancock also explores myths and oral traditions from different cultures, treating them as possible historical records instead of just stories. He is especially interested in the many flood myths found in various cultures, thinking they might be a shared memory of a real, significant event that affected this lost civilization. He explains that floods of icy meltwater, caused by the heat and energy from comet impacts, flowed off the North American ice cap into the Atlantic Ocean. This sudden rush of water disrupted the Gulf Stream, an essential part of Earth's climate system, leading to rapid and dramatic cooling. Graham Hancock's ideas explore amazing ancient buildings around the world. He is deeply interested in the engineering and building achievements seen in places like Egypt's pyramids, Stonehenge, and South America's large stone sites. Hancock believes these wonders show the advanced skills and knowledge of a lost ancient society, making us reconsider how we see human history. Hancock argues that the careful and detailed work of old buildings suggests that early builders had knowledge and technology much more advanced than we usually think. For example, at Pumapunku in Bolivia, the stones are cut so accurately that they seem to have used very advanced tools. Hancock is especially interested in how they put together huge buildings without using cement. even though some stones weigh many tons. He thinks this shows they understood engineering well and might have used new ways to move heavy things. Besides how buildings were made, Hancock also loves the math and geometry shown in these old buildings. He talks about how they used the golden ratio and exact angles as proof that they knew a lot about math and shapes. For example, the Great Pyramid of Giza has a base that's perfectly lined up and angles that are very exact. According to Hancock, this is good proof that they were very skilled at shapes and building. Graham Hancock also mentions the impressive old structures in Central America, like the Pyramid of the Sun at Teotihuacan and the Mayan pyramids. He talks about their advanced building style, city planning, and the use of big stone blocks. Hancock argues that these achievements show a much higher level of technical skill and knowledge than previously thought possible for these old societies. Additionally, Hancock explores the interesting idea of precession, which is the slow change in Earth's axis over about 26,000 years. He looks into how the pyramids at Giza are lined up with the stars in Orion's belt, and how the Great Sphinx was lined up with the constellation Leo during the time of Leo around 10,000 BCE. Hancock suggests that these alignments were not accidental but intentional, which means that the old builders had a clever understanding of this complicated astronomical event. What are your thoughts on the hidden secrets of ancient Egyptian Sphinx scientists finally opened? Let us know your answer in the comments section.